Hey, my lovely, I want to say something different. I'm always like, oh, hey, third graders, or hey, my friends. And you know what? I'm going to call you tonight. I'm going to say, hey, little blueberry muffins, because I can. I can say that if I want. Um, I wanted to say hello and just give you a quick little reminder, like a recap of what we feel where you should be right now as writers. Okay. Now, um, I think that it's important to stop and take a pause because when we write, a lot of times we're writing and writing and writing and writing and writing, and we don't have any sense of what it is that we've done so far. So what I usually teach my students is to pause. So that means that I've got to get rid of this bright light behind me. It's like an alien is behind me. Um, so I think that a good thing to do as a writer would be to pause and go back to what you've done so far and read it. Like I'll teach my students, you write, stop, go back to the beginning, read it, make sure you haven't made any mistakes, fix those, keep writing. Write a little bit more, write, stop, go back to the beginning, read what you wrote. Oh, there's a period missing. I didn't see that the first time around. It's a great way to just kind of keep yourself in check. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I'm a big screen sharer. And this always appears here. I don't like that. And there I am in the little box. Um, so what we've done so far as writers is, first of all, you should have picked an animal by now. If you haven't picked an animal, there is a serious problem. So no, I'm sure you've picked an animal. So bats, elephants, wolves, sharks. The next thing you should have done is picked some subtopics. I'm just going to say some. I think that 4 is a nice magic number, maybe 5. 3 is not quite enough. But we'll see. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe for you, that's where you are. And I'm not going to judge that because that's not my job. It's just to teach you what I think you can do. And then why not push yourself a little bit, right? Go big or go home, as I like to say. So your subtopics, your habitat, your body parts, your predators, your babies, you have those ideas. And remember, just because you really think it's interesting about learning about the wolf's teeth is not a subtopic. Teeth is part of a subtopic, and the body part is the subtopic. So you have to go over that again with your teacher because we didn't go over that together. Just make sure that if you have chosen have chosen a subtopic, that it actually is one. Vocabulary, you should be using vocabulary that is specific to your animal. Now, obviously, predator and prey, those are good vocabulary words to use, and everybody could use them and with every single animal. But you should also have vocabulary that's very specific to your animal, like rookery or something like that, because rookery is very specific to my animal, the penguin. You want to really try to get your readers excited about what you're writing about. So you have to get yourself excited about that too. So you might get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, I've been reading this book after book after book. Oh, here's a really cool article. Here's a great video. Here's a good website. You should be doing that. We'd really like it at this point if you would incorporate something regarding the animal's traits, motivations, and struggles. So you might be thinking about why your animal is so resilient or why your animal is so motivated. Well, he's motivated because he needs to live. And why your animal is struggling so much. Well, they're living in very harsh conditions. So be thinking about that while you're reading. Putting all the research into your own words. That's something that I went over just recently. It needs to sound like you, right? We don't want your piece to sound like somebody else wrote it because trust me, I had a student one time years ago who wrote this whole thing on owls and different types of birds of prey. And I knew this kid. This is at the end of the year. He was doing this whole report. It was like an independent writing project. I was like, oh my God, this kid did not write this. I mean, I know he didn't. So we know what you are and who you are, and we want it to sound like you. So make sure that this work is in your own words. And then also use the text features that we talked about. Throw in a good diagram, and a great map to show us where your animal lives. Do some of your own beautiful illustrations, as well as collecting some gorgeous pictures and photographs of your animal that are exciting and will wow your readers. Use those bold words, throw in a glossary. So we think as third grade teachers that if you've done this so far, you're gold. Some of you might have already written your entire piece, and when we give you that rubric, you're going to go, "Oh, I need to add this stuff in too." Some of you might have been like, "Well, I started doing a little bit of this, but I haven't really gotten quite here yet." It might be time for you to like step up your game and spend some time on this. It might mean putting less time into something else so that you can put more time into this. Writers write so that readers can read. And I personally believe, as a teacher of many, many years, and as a person who's raised two kids, that writing really opens up a lot of doors. So take my word for it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and say to you that it's been really lovely teaching you today, and hopefully this is helpful to get you on the right track. Okay, have a beautiful day, little blueberry muffins.